I also was super excited because he went 3 days. So Prix St. George I won, and then the freestyle. And I was thinking, yeah, he might be tired on day 3, and he was not. So it really showed me that A, he definitely has gained some strength, and then B, he also liked and enjoyed his work if he's still on day 3 full on there for me.
Excited.
Yes,
to do it.
Yeah. And he's such a exciting and cool horse, and I really, really love working with him. He's a very, very kind horse, and really one of those horses that always tries its best, and he has such beautiful and big gaits that really speak for him in all the young horse divisions, you know. And so yeah, I mean, he's given us, I always say, a gift each year, and also taking him to Ermelo as a 6-year-old.
I saw you there.
Yeah,
that was
and
great.
he's such a good boy. Like, you know, I was telling even in Chicago in the interview, I take him, the 2 stallions and another Dutch gelding that I have on trail rides, and Latino always is the leader, and he's just so solid. He's my favorite. And he was going on a 20-meter circle, and you could see how much forward drive he had, and that was always, that's something, for example, I think is important for Grand Prix, because even at the end in Tokyo when it was so hot, it not once, you know, you have thoughts about, ooh, watch out that this doesn't go wrong or that doesn't go wrong. It never crossed my mind that I wouldn't have enough horse in that weather. Not once did I think.
Because he always kept that forward urge.
He just has so much go, but was good in the head too, because that's the hard combo, right? The hot.
Sometimes a trade-off, right?
Or when, and when we talk about hot, I don't like the hot, but word hot. They have to be good in the mind. I think I would call it more the work ethic and willingness to just go forward. It's hard also. When we talk about the other extreme, I always say that in my lessons, it's hard to collect a horse that doesn't think forward, right? You can't convert that push into carrying if the horse doesn't have
forward
that.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
If you are never ridden to Grand Prix yet, would you recommend it's still possible or good to start with a young horse, or do you think
100%.
you should?
I mean, look, when you look at the classical book, it always says, you know, the inexperienced rider on an experienced horse and vice versa, right?
That's what a lot of people think. Like,
yeah, but I would say, I mean, I come from a non-traditional background. Yes, I learned with warm bloods at Jean Bemelmanns in Krefeld, Germany. But then after that, I went back to the barn where I was as a child, riding ponies, and the other half, they had Friesian horses and Andalusians. And that's where that comes from also for me to young trained horses, because I've never been given an older trained horse. I don't come from that kind of business model. So we always had to make our own horses. So that's why I feel most comfortable when it's my product. And it's such a partnership that we read each other at the end with such subtle little signals. But I can say from my experience, it's definitely possible. You know, times have changed now with internet. I'm always like very looking back, happy that
we didn't have that.
Yes. I always say I grew up with rocks and sticks to play, you know. But it's like, I sometimes feel like that must be hard for a young person when people always
see everything you do.
Yes, and they see these really fancy horses, and what is being bred nowadays is just incredible. The movement that we have now available, and the athleticism, and the everything, the whole package compared to 20, 30 years ago, right? So I think it's also really important that we don't forget to not override the expression, but that the expression comes from suppleness and throughness and harmony, and don't go accidentally the wrong direction for our own egos or for our own athletic goals, and always keep in mind that we're working with an animal and take our time, and each horse is individual, because I want them to go to a show and liking it and
Have
not
fun.
feeling,
Yeah.
oh, now we have to do something that's a little harder than the rider. I mean, we all want to do well. We put a little pressure on, I feel like, and I don't want to do that. I want to make it a really good experience, so at the end that I really have a partner I can count on and I can push on, because they don't look at showing in a negative or stressful way, but a very relaxed and, hey, it's the same like at home. Definitely also myself looking a lot in Holland for up and coming and young horses, and I always loved how much expression the Dutch horses have. And they're beautiful, and I think, you know, of course that's not where you score, but it is a little bit the whole package, in the sense also they have a lot of charisma. When a horse comes in the ring that has a lot of expression,
presence
and
yeah.
presence,
Yeah.
charisma, I mean, I still get so excited and melt, and I'm just so in love with that horse then. So I think a little bit it counts too, besides all the other attributes that we have to have in order to be competitive at a high level in this sport. And he's so talented and such a very, very sweet horse, a little bit of an introvert, and you have to get to know him. Like when you first, if he doesn't know you and you step in the stall, he's the opposite from gorgeous Latino. He'll come like
in your space.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this one is more shy, but also super, super, the work ethic is impeccable. I will have to say, when I sat on him, I immediately fell in love with him when I was up there. So that was definitely already a yes, and a very, you know, I'm obviously very grateful to have that opportunity to sit on such an amazing horse.
Hopefully next year you're going to ride him Grand Prix, right?
Am I?
Or not? Oh no, it's developing Grand Prix next year.
Well, you know, with sometimes I hope I can get it done, but again, I will not, you know, rush it. I mean, he's going to tell me how fast we will get there. I think he has a nice Piaffe, really nice Piaffe passage, so that I already have. And the Grand Prix test is a hard test. I mean, they have to do everything. You know, you have to find the horse where you also feel it's not a big deal for them, I think, you know. And it's, you know, we're the advocate for our horses, so it's also really important that we place them correctly and say, you know, which horse is good at what, right? So he's definitely
a different type.
A different type, and he's not shy. He's confident. And if he was probably in nature, he would be the alpha. But he's also very people oriented and very sweet. Loves kids. I remember in Ermelo, he had one of the stalls in the permanent stabling, and he had his head out, and his owner's sister was in town with a bunch of kids. They just loved on him, and he was like a total ham, playing with them and enjoying all the attention. Yeah. And it's fun that he's also super brave. Like I said earlier, he's like my favorite trail horse.
Oh yeah. Well,
and right. You know, it's a big step from Prix St. George to I1. They have to do full pirouettes, and also he's growing out now, except for the Grand Prix, but the young horse program. So he has to, you know, it's a little bit more forgiving in the young horse program, certain things, you know, when the pirouettes are a little bit bigger still. So everything has to be more tighter. And in the I1 and Prix St. George, I think things come up quicker. And as I say, in Chicago, he did very well. I'm super proud of both horses. But I will say he still was a little bit struggling with the fact that things come up so quickly, and I have to listen to him, and I can't just, I would love to show him, you know, right away, but I have to listen to him, and I also have to acknowledge he's done so much for us every year. I mean, it's amazing. And so maybe it's a year where we take it a little more easy. I don't know. We'll see. He's going to tell us.